Republicans in the White House have been taking a victory lap. We all heard the B-2 go over Washington, D.C., if you were here this past weekend. How did the GOP get this across the finish line despite the warring factions, competing agendas, and that tight timeline?
President Trump. I mean, President Trump deserves credit for this. He also kind of set an arbitrary deadline of July 4th to kind of raise the stakes a little bit. But Republicans, we have to remember, Republicans have the White House, they have the Senate, they have the House, and so it's not like they were turning water into wine here. But they got it done, and they're able to take this victory lap. And it was something that President Trump had prioritized, and it was either the early morning conversations with members of Congress who had questions, or the bringing them to the White House throughout the discussion process in order to make it happen.
So the law extends the 2017 Trump tax cuts. It creates a $1,000 account to incentivize families to have children, gives tax exemptions on tips and overtime pay, and boosts funding for ICE. Nathan, can you talk about what's in the bill that Americans will either like or support?
I think those things that you mentioned are things that a number of people are going to like, and they're probably going to like that the tax cuts are continuing, and so those taxes won't go up. But in general, if this bill does what Republicans say it's going to do, that it's going to boost the economy, it's going to help people bring home more money, and that the cost of living is going to go down, if it achieves those goals, then this bill is going to be popular as it's implemented.
Including Hakeem Jeffries, who broke a House record on the House floor trying to slow roll the process of the vote. But critics point to the hefty price tag, fewer Americans and legal residents who will be insured, cuts to clean energy, and confusing messages like one sent by the Social Security Administration claiming that Trump's tax and spending law will eliminate federal income taxes on Social Security benefits for most beneficiaries. Experts say that that is just not true. Are there things in the bill that might put the Republicans' grip on Washington in jeopardy?
I think the biggest risk is on Medicaid cuts. Republicans actually they agree that there will be cuts to Medicaid, but they're saying that it will be cuts to people who shouldn't even be receiving that benefit in the first place, right? It's people who are in the country illegally, or people who are able to work but are not working. And so as these cuts are implemented, the voters will ultimately decide whether that's the right decision or the politically popular decision. Democrats believe that there's a lot of risk, and there are people that should be getting that benefit, that it will ultimately be taken from them. And so I think the Medicaid cuts are going to be the big discussion in the 2026 midterm elections.
And we know some of that effect doesn't happen until 2027. Nathan, final question for you. President Trump says former DOJ director Elon Musk has gone off the rails. That's his words there, after floating the idea of starting a new political party. If Musk was unsuccessful opposing the bill and failed to flip the Wisconsin Supreme Court race back in April, does he stand a chance to successfully launch a new party that will disrupt the status quo?
No, but we can have a longer answer than that. Even if you take out what Elon's political failures in the past, or even let's take Elon Musk out of it, it is extremely difficult to start a third party in this country. First, structurally, it's more than just filing a piece of paper and saying, here's a party. State by state, there are different hoops or things you need to do to get as a candidate and a third party candidate to get on the ballot and to be able to have that party status. But then I think the bigger issue is the ideology.
Right.
You can get a lot of people to agree that they don't like Republicans or Democrats, but what are you going to be for? And that's when the coalition is going to be hard to keep together.
And we're going to have to leave it right there. Nathan Gonzales with Inside Elections, thank you as always.